Hey, Algebra 2, today we're going to talk about the geometric series. Basically, just like we did arithmetic series, we're talking about the sum of the series that we're going to be given, but we're dealing with geometric. We have two formulas here. One has the first term, the ratio, and the last term, and the second one has the first term, the ratio, and the number of terms. So we have to figure out which one to use. So in this case, it says find the sum of the terms in the geometric series with first term a sub 1 equals negative 9. Common ratio is r equals negative 4. And the last term is a sub n equals 9,216. Well, first of all, let me move this down really quick. Okay. Give ourselves some room. Okay. So we have to figure out which one do we need to use? So what information are we given? So if you take a look at this, we know our first term is negative 9. Our ratio is negative 4. Our last term is 9,216. So we can actually use this sum formula that says a sub 1 minus r times a sub n over 1 minus r. This is the formula we're going to want to use. So we're going to plug in exactly into the formula. So this s sub n is equal to our first term minus our common ratio times our last term all over 1 minus our ratio. Okay? Remember, stick exactly to the formula. Alright, so if we work this out, we get negative 9. Now, don't forget, a negative times a negative becomes a positive. So this becomes 36,864 over negative, and a negative next to each other becomes a plus. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So now that's equal to negative 9 plus that is 36,855 over 5. And then we just divide. So we get 7,371. This would be our answer. Again, it's not too difficult. Just stick exactly to the formula and just make sure you do the right computations. Okay? So again, figure out which formula do you need to know by realizing what given information do you have. Now this next one here says find the sum of the terms. Let me go ahead again. Move this really quick. We can actually move this one up. Okay. Find the sum of the terms of the geometric series. Now, here, we know our first term, a sub 1 is equal to 16. We know our last term, a sub n is equal to negative 1/8. And we know our ratio is negative 1/2. So again, we want to stick with this formula. S sub n is equal to s sub 1 minus r times s sub n over 1 minus r. So let's plug in. We have 16 minus our ratio, which is negative 1/2, times our last term, which is negative 1/8, over 1 minus a negative 1/2. So here we have 16, negative, negative, negative stays negative, odd negatives, minus 1/16 over 1 plus 1/2 is 3/2. So up top, we're going to need a common denominator. So we can rewrite this. I need to turn this 16 over 1. I need to multiply top and bottom by 16 to get a common denominator. So here I have 256 minus 1, and now they're both over 16, over 3/2. And remember, you can change any division problem into multiplication. So here we have 255 over 16. Instead of saying divided by, we could say times, and we could change it by flipping that bottom fraction. So times 2/3. Okay, so now the 2 and the 8 reduce. 255 divided by 3, that's going to give us 85. Okay, so now we're left with 85 over 8. And that would be our final answer. So that is what we get if you were to take these terms and add them all up. We get 85 over 8. Again, find that common denominator up in the numerator. And then we could change this into multiplication by flipping the bottom fraction, making it 2/3. We reduce, and we get 85 over 8. Alright, one more. Okay, yeah, one more. Find the sum of the first 9 terms of the geometric series. So, we know our first term, negative 1/8. We don't know our last term. We do know n is 9. And our ratio, again, the way we find the ratio, take one number divided by the one before. Notice we're doubling this by negative 2. Okay? You're multiplying each term by negative 2. So here we have to use our second formula, which says S sub n is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. So our first term, negative 1/8, times 1 minus r to the n. I'm going to change these into brackets. Okay? Over 1 minus r. So here we have negative 1/8, 1 minus, so if this is a negative and that's an odd exponent, when I apply the odd exponent, this stays negative. But notice we have a minus out here. Actually, let's do it step by step so I don't confuse anyone. So this is going to stay negative. So when I apply this 2, this becomes 512. So 2 to the 9th is 512. These becomes plus, that becomes 3. So now this becomes negative 1/8, 1, but again that becomes plus. This ends up becoming 513 over 3. Okay? Now, since we have a fraction in the numerator, but it's only being multiplied, we can go ahead and push this down. So this becomes negative 513 over 24, which we can reduce both of these by 3. You can divide both of these by 3. If I divide this by 3, it becomes an 8. Okay? That's a negative. If I divide this by 3, so I'll do a little side computation here. So that gives us 171. Okay? So there we go. That doesn't reduce anymore. So that is how we apply the second formula. If you don't know the last term, we have to use this formula. So again, watch out for your positive negatives. That can really kind of mess people up. So you got to be careful with that. Alright, so good luck with that. Let me know if you have any questions. Alright, bye.